It's the nature of existence. That's the second truth. It is nature of life that suffering is. Your life will be met with sufferings. Another thing about this is that not only suffering is prevalent, but suffering is, as we said before, also impermanent. So we have to now take advantage of what we've agreed in the first instance. Now, if everything is impermanent, then my suffering can also be impermanent. Can I make my suffering a little bit short-lived? Yes, you can. When we know that even as a little pain or a little physical irritation we have, we quickly go and take a painkiller or something, try to reduce the pain as quickly as possible, prevent it from reoccurring. Now, mental sufferings, like anxiety and depression, while some medication can temporarily help, but does not actually do anything to uproot it, because mental sufferings do not respond very well on a long term with medication. Mental sufferings will best respond to consciousness and awareness and mindfulness. And so, therefore, if one is able to be mindful that suffering is prevalent, and yet they are all impermanent, then one doesn't think that one should be unlike others who have no sufferings. One can, even say there may be quite a few of you tonight who works in the industry as carers, as counselors, as psychologists, and whatever nurses, and most importantly, supporters in the family. You will see that actually when you truly understand suffering of depression, anxiety, someone in your life, it actually was very hard, but actually brought some of the best qualities in you. That is kindness, that is love, that is true generosity, true commitment, true loyalty, true forgiveness. And everything that we have seen, good side of anyone, is when someone is going through the worst suffering. So therefore, we mustn't demonize suffering as anti-life, but actually, its suffering is that which teaches us some of the most amazing qualities that we all seek to have. You would have never found how much somebody does love you until you really go through so much suffering like that. So, our main response to depression, anxiety, the Buddhist teaching offers is how to reconnect with suffering and try to make use of it rather than rejecting it, rather than stigmatizing it. If it wasn't suffering, we could not be of any use to each other. We would be like the demigods. In the realm, they have nothing to do. They have no one to care for. They have no one that's their dependent, and so on. So on the human realm, at least we have emotions. We care about, feel somebody suffering as our own. And it doesn't make us to leave it as we have nothing to do with it. It actually brings the best in us. Some of the best skills in the mental health were only brought up by their opportunity not only to study books and theories about it, but actually holding their hands and listening stories and understanding the plight of the sufferers from the core of their heart, and then actually tailoring what best is the skill they can offer to allay their suffering through kindness, through forgiveness, through understanding. So in Buddhist teachings, we look at the virtues of suffering. We call noble truth of suffering. The truth that suffering teaches us about life is compassion. Of course, it will be good if we didn't have certain mental sufferings, because we are successful in allaying physical sufferings, push of a button, you know. you can allay most of the physical suffering quickly. But just as quickly you can allay those suffering, just as quickly it creates another one. You know? So even though all the controlling the temperature or the texture or the feeling or the cushion or whatever, you can change them, but in the underlying causes of irritability and unsatisfactoriness still will linger. So therefore, when I say the word Buddha or Buddhist means awakened. Awakened means one who's not asleep or unaware of the suffering that is in the making, in the mind. Most sufferings are made in the mind and can only be resolved by the mind. It is not a curse of somebody that until they lift the curse, our suffering will stay. It's not like that. Even sufferings are impermanent, but only if we know what to do with the suffering. So therefore, let's look at some of the virtues of suffering. Because stigma and denial and rejection of suffering, when we don't know it, actually exacerbate the suffering. It creates the suffering even more. Because the cause of suffering is aversion and anger and denial and ignorance of it. So by practicing these, which are the actual cause of suffering, it only can create more suffering. So part of the problem is we don't know these things are the cause of the sufferings. We don't know that, we don't want the result, but we are creating the causes of it. It's just like we don't know where the sand is falling from, but we keep throwing them up ourselves like this. You keep throwing sand in the sky and then keep saying, well, who the hell is putting this over my head? We keep throwing like this. That's what's happening, actually. Unconsciously, of course. As soon as you realize it's your sand that you threw, then of course you thought, it's my own, gosh, there's nobody looking. Then you stop. Then you stop throwing the sand. Right? Our thoughts are firing the wrong views, wrong understanding, misperception, incorrect views, untested ideas, opinions. We believe in those wrong views as correct view, and we follow them, we act on the behalf of them, we feel them, and we don't realize we cause them all emotionally.